And we have a couple of tornado warnings we want to tell you about right now. Thanks for joining us here on the Weather Channel as we continue our coverage of Hurricane Irene 24 hours a day. Going to show you first where we do have the tornado warnings. 2 of them in New Jersey. Zooming in to give you a really good idea of what we're looking at. Just to the west of Atlantic City and the north of Atlantic City right now in New Jersey. This does include Stanford. So we're showing you this, Stafford. We're showing you this as we pull out. You see the green outlined areas. It is tough to make it out, but we do have some green outlined areas. You see right in through here. It's like a patchwork of green outlined spots. Those are flash flood warnings, and we have been seeing some flash flooding, including in Norfolk. Take a look at some new video coming into the Weather Channel. Okay, we talk about flash flooding. This is video taken during the day. You're wondering about maybe going out and catching a movie, going over to your friend's house. Not a good idea. You're going out in the dark right now and you're coming into this, that will be some bad news. So this is in Virginia, Norfolk, some new video just now coming into the Weather Channel, but we do have likely scenes like this throughout a good portion of the Northeast and the Mid-Atlantic because of the heavy rain. Let's go now and hear from the governor of Virginia, Bob McDonnell, right now about the storm.
I have authorized local governments to issue curfews for the next 48 hours. Several locations, Newport News and Hampton, have already used that authority and have ordered mandatory curfews during these nighttime hours. We'd like to have people in the cities and counties to refer to their local government information to find out the exact hours in their areas.
And Crystal, another thing to think about, many people are going to be dealing with no power, and it could be days and days before that power comes back on.
Absolutely, which is another reason there are many ways to watch us. You can follow us on your computer. If you have an iPad, you can jump onto Facebook. We're streaming live on the Weather Channel page on Sirius Satellite Radio as well. So a number of ways to stay in touch as we continue our coverage of Hurricane Irene. You mentioned power outages, so let's talk about where we're at right now. North Carolina with 500,000 people without power right now. Virginia reporting 700,000 plus. Maryland 100,000. Keep in mind, these are customers without power, so the number of people is going to be even higher. We've got families of 4 or 5, you know, a lot of folks impacted by this, and the number is going to continue to go up, unfortunately. We want to go to NBC's Tom Costello right now with an update from Ocean City, Maryland. And boy, Tom, I can tell the wind's picking up there, the rain's coming down. We even have a closure of the Chesapeake Bay Bridge.
Yeah, that means we're staying, I guess. We can't get off of the area that we're on, the Delmarva Peninsula, and I'm clocking now sustained winds here, 35 to 40. You know, we've been there for a while, 35 to 40, and they keep saying, you guys keep saying, we're going to expect more, you know, double that in the coming hours. We are really now getting a very hard driving, pelting rain coming from the due east, so right off of the ocean, and we've already seen 4.5 inches of rain or so, probably approaching 5 by now. I suspect you have that data at your hands, and they're talking about 10 to 12 inches of rain here in total. Storm surge, rather, 6 to 8 feet. I don't know how well you can see the ocean behind me. It's really a dramatic, violent sea back there. The sea caps are all white. We are estimating that the ocean is probably, the waves are probably 20, 25 feet higher than they normally would be, or than they were yesterday afternoon when we first arrived. We have now also lost power here on this particular stretch of the Delmarva. We're in Ocean City, Maryland. We are coming to you off of generator power, and we can tell you that the police have decided that they are no longer allowing officers on the streets. They pulled them back. They don't want any officer on the street until the storm has passed and the danger has passed. Back to you guys inside.
Can I ask you? Oh, go ahead, Chris.
If you have a question, go ahead, Crystal.
I was just going to ask Tom the percentage of people that have stuck around, if he has any idea.
Yeah, they're looking at, they think that probably 95 to 98% of the population here got off of the island. Probably only about 3% stayed. Those are really die-hard people. They're not in any way tourists. They are the residents who live here who are determined to ride this thing out. The police went door to door saying, you've got to leave. If they insisted on staying, then they asked for their next of kin information, and they insisted that that was not a scare tactic, that they were really that concerned. You know, the issue here, in addition combination of these extremely high winds that we've got now, and we're expecting even more of, the issue here on the peninsula is the water and the flooding potential. They think that is going to be the biggest concern. One last thought for you. You know, I lived in the New York, New Jersey area when I worked for NBC and CNBC, and so I know what that megapolis is used to having in terms of weather. This is coming their way. This is a hell of a storm, and it's only going to double in intensity. So New York City and New Jersey, this is going to be a very tough ride. Back to you guys.
All right, Tom Costello, thank you very much for that. We want to head up the coast a little bit further to Bridgeport, Connecticut, where we have NECN's Brian Burnell. What's the latest there, Brian?
Scary to think that that's what's headed this way. At the very moment that we're standing here now, it's rather calm. I actually just put down my umbrella because the rain is kind of let up. It's pelting a little bit. But what we've had is that typical tropical storm stuff all day long, starting early in the day and then building and building. Rain on and off, and then more steady rain with those all of a sudden 4 or 5 minute downpours. The wind has picked up. It's probably 15, 20 miles an hour at this point. And just as Tom was talking about, the big concern here, winds and the storm surge. The winds because of the trees, and the trees taking the power lines down. We have the National Guard on standby, 200 National Guards troops ready to go for tomorrow morning, an additional 500 for Monday morning, assuming there's going to be a lot of cleanup to do. Connecticut Light and Power is ready with 600 plus crews ready to go out and take care of that. But at this point, we're basically waiting for Irene to come down the pike, and from what I understand from the mayor of Bridgeport, Connecticut, he thinks it's coming right at his town.
Brian Burnell, thank you very much from NECN. We appreciate that. And it is coming for a lot of towns in the Northeast and New England. We have live coverage everywhere, on air, online, and on satellite radar. We are Hurricane Central. Stay with us. 24-hour coverage of Hurricane Irene continues.